Oh boy, it's a new figure from Tamashii Nations, the 26th Goku. I'm not joking about that count, this really is the 26th Goku. Welcome back to the worst channel on all of YouTube, and yes, you heard that correctly, there really are more Figuarts Gokus than there are World Martial Arts tournaments. But in any case, this is the Figuarts Son Goku Superhero from Dragon Ball Super Superhero. I still fucking hate that name. This thing came out in May of last year at a retail price of $35, and yeah, that's about all you need to know. Let's just get this shit on the road. The box is effectively what you've come to expect out of S.H.Figuarts at this point, so seeing as how it is essentially the same as literally every other figure in the line, and is even closer to Piccolo, who I just recently made a review for, I'm just gonna skim over the box for you. Just gonna pan over it and let you soak it all in, because it's basically exactly the same as Piccolo, just with Goku, because that's basically what these boxes have become. God is any sort of personality these things could have given the figures. Say hello to the copy-pasted design. So, that little rant aside, little ramble aside, let's get Goku out of the box. Since this is basically another Goku, you don't need to know how tall he is if you collect these figures, because he is literally the exact same height as every other Goku in the line. As far as the paint and sculpt goes, the only new thing on the sculpt front are the faces. And they're fine. They're not my favorite faces for Goku, but they do the job. I do like that we finally have a smirking face for base form Goku. We got gypped out of that with Jace. But overall, the sculpt here for the new faces, they aren't too shabby. But what is kind of shabby is the fact that this figure is head to toe, barring the skin in some areas. It's entirely gloss. Save for very specific areas on the figure, it's gloss all over, and it looks really, really cheap, especially coming hot off the heels of the Piccolo, who didn't have a glossy finish from head to toe. I will say I do like his new color palette. It looks nice. I've heard some people complain about it, but it's not too bad in my honest opinion. Flesh tone is different to the other Gokus, so don't expect to do any head swapping or anything like that. As a matter of fact, if you wanted a comparison so badly, here is just how different the flesh tone is between these two Gokus. This is literally just the Goku that I had on hand to do this comparison, because I just shot his review. So yeah, you can see that the superhero Goku uses a much more dull color palette than the other Gokus as far as the flesh tone goes. So again, don't expect any sort of head swapping to happen. As far as the actual paint goes, outside of the glossy finish, it's sufficeable enough. I do not like the shading though. The shading is very poorly applied on this figure. As you can see, there is a little bit on his shoulders and then nothing else on his body. He's also got a nice little bit of sweaty armpits going on, so that's wonderful. And you also have very, very harsh red shading on the front of his legs, which is what Tamashii has been doing as of late with Goku, and it looks fucking terrible. It's very cheap, and it's obvious that they put zero fucks into this, because if you look on the back, there's nothing. Save for what had to be printed on in his kanji, there is basically fucking nothing back here. Begs the question, if you're not going to shade the whole figure, And what the hell was the point of even adding the shading in the first place? Figure looks good other than those issues. It's just that those issues stick out like a sore thumb on this figure. It's especially noticeable after this being the 26th Goku. So yeah, just a little bit pissed about that. So here are all of Goku's different accessories, and hands are run-of-the-mill. You get the instantaneous movement, martial arts stance, Kamehameha, and open palm ki blast hands, all with a side of some mold lines and some poor peg tolerances. So thanks a lot for that, Tamashi. Oh, we also get 3 new faces. One of which I can't say I care for. The side glancing face, which looked really good in the promo images, and if it didn't suck on the final product, I probably would have used it. But unfortunately, as you can see, the eyes are too high up on his face and don't convey the same expression as the prototype, so that's wonderful. Screaming face is fine. The eyebrows are a little bit too high for my liking, but it looks fine. Shocked face is really nice. It's dead on. I don't have any real issues with it. It's a good face all around. So that said, let's just move on to his articulation. So the articulation is exactly the same as just about every other Goku, just with a side of Tamashii Nation's quality. The head is on a mostly functional ball hinge. I've seen it can be very stiff, so be wary of that. Neck doesn't really get the best movement in the world, but that's to be expected at this point. Full 360 out of the shoulder, can go up that far if you don't want to break the sculpt, can go up that far if you don't give a shit. Bicep swivel takes a bit of a push to go, but it works. Double joint the elbow, wrist pivot, and swivel. Get an ab crunch that can go that far forward, that far back, far side to side. A little bit of rotation, but because this is the same raised on earth body, you don't get much more than that. Also, his shoulders cross his chest about that far, because the butterfly joint is completely worthless on this figure. But that's just generally a problem with this mold. Loose belt tie thing. I don't know how that became an issue because that never was an issue before. Then we have the hips. They're loose, but if you don't count that, they can split that far out to the sides and can go that far front to back. Thigh swivel. Doesn't really go full 360, but it does work. Double joint at the knee, which is oddly tighter than his hips, and a pretty alright ankle rocker. And his toe can go that far up and a little bit down for some reason. So yeah, that about does it for this one. So overall, what are my final thoughts on the Dragon Ball Superhero Son Goku Superhero S.H.Figuarts Super thing? For a figure that has super in its name twice, I can't quite say it's very super. The quality control is very rough on this figure, at least my copy. The hands very obviously did not get sanded down properly after being pulled off the mold. Joints are very off. Some joints are loose, some are tight, some outright feel like they're gonna fucking break. Overall, if you already have Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku, this thing
is as valuable as a summer ant. You serve no purpose in life. Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should keep.
If you're looking for a good, cheap Goku, it depends on what you're looking for out of Goku. But at the end of the day, unless you're getting this one for the face plates, the unique palette, or for some reason, if you're looking for a Saiyan Raised on Earth stand-in, don't get it. It's just kind of middle of the road. Very meh for me. It's made even worse by the dodgy quality control. So, yeah, thanks a lot, Tamashi, for proving just how much you really, really care about that quality control. Hey, maybe when the new Trunks comes out, maybe he'll just fucking explode. You know, maybe they'll just rig him to fucking explode or some shit. You know, they just start fucking mailing bombs. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? God damn it. That's Machination's quality struck me like a motherfucker, didn't it?